Hello everybody, this is Mike, and we'll call this one part 2. Update. Mind-blowing. Earth changes August 18th. Okay, so I left off talking about our young, and now I'd like to get on to a little bit more. I still got more on page 1 of 3. Okay, I'll just make little notes. I've been taking notes for a year and a half, collecting all this garble going on. So there's readings in the United States shortly after Fukushima that read triple Chernobyl on the top of some roof buildings, and some of this information was gathered by Arnie Gunderson, and Arnie Gunderson is he builds nuclear plants for the US and the world, and right now he's speaking against all this about the nuclear industry. NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. This is where we're going to find the biggest problem. Let me carry on a bit here. Anyways, I kind of wanted to get you to understand more about what's going on at the plant before I go there, though. We got these fuel pools. Now there isn't just one, right? We got one hanging over 4 all crooked. We got 1 in 3. 3 building is just as bad as 4. The structural integrity has been blown to boop. There ain't much left there. That building looks the worst, actually. And if you take a look at what's going on, Arnie and other people that are that know what a nuclear explosion does, right? How it acts when it goes off. A nuclear explosion in a plant like that, and now this man knows what he's talking about, and so do a lot of others. These people have been doing this stuff all their lives. They're saying, a lot of them just won't come out and say it, but they'll give you all these scenarios that only leaves you one answer. And they're saying that this explosion was much faster. It was a man-made deal. And that's a little hard to take, don't you think? What? Did you say man-made? Yeah, I did. So it shows in the films. I mean, you're watching all these different takes of the explosions, and it is very fast, whereas any nuclear explosion is a slow, progressive deal. It's not an instant deal like you've seen back in the past. It's a woof, you know what I mean? It's not a whoa. And what we're seeing is a aha. Okay, we're not going to dwell on that anymore for a little while. We're just going to kind of take this to the next step. So, yeah, this Nuclear Regulatory Commission seems to have this tendency to build all their plants on fault zones. Well, okay, not all. Maybe just a quarter of them are on fault zones, I think. I think it's more. Aha. I've checked this out too. I mean, you're getting all these plants now. Now, I did do a little fault here. I didn't check up on to see how many nuclear plants are in the world, right? Because this TEPCO and NRC seem to be all in bed. one pays the other. One's financed by the other, right? Because they are the industry that run all the nuclear, all a very, very top percentage of nuclear plants in the world. Okay, we're going to carry on here. We got all sitting on these faults, all up and down the coasts, all close to water. You know, if you look in the United States, over in the eastern seaboard, it's pretty well just a mass of plants. On the western seaboard, down into California, down on the bottom there, California's got a lot. You know, Great Lakes, Canada, they're all over. And we're just talking Canada and the United States here. We're not going any further. And if I'm not mistaken, though, there's approximately, and I'm going to lowball the heck out of this, 250. No, 150. There you go. There's a real safe number. 150. 150. And I'm sure there's more. Okay? Even if, whatever, I'm going to carry on. So we got these plants all built all around our oceans and all around our waters. And then, so let me just take this into some math here now. We got number 4 fuel pool. And Arnie Gunderson states, and other physicists, nuclear physicists, have stated the same thing, that number 4 fuel pool, if tipped over, and of course number 3 catches on fire, and then there's another great big massive one out behind number 4, out on the grounds. It's in the ground, which is something US doesn't seem to have caught on to very well. A lot safer in the ground than perched above, wouldn't you think? Especially if it carries enough poisons to contaminate the North America, the world. That seems strange. So anyway, number 4 goes off, bang bang. You got 3 going on there too. We're not even going to count the one over yonder there. It's much bigger, but we're not counting that. So that's Arnie gives a rough figure there. He says, well, it's at least 20 times Chernobyl. Now right now they have an exclusion zone around Chernobyl of 1 to 2 thousand kilometers. Big area. And if you start doing your research, you find out that there's countries around this exclusion zone, that Turkey and stuff like this, that their foods are still heavily radiated. Now, how many years was that ago? Okay, we're going to carry on there. So Arnie says 20 times, you know, it's 20 times Chernobyl. Just that fuel pool. Let alone what's been going on for a year and a half with all 4 of them in a meltdown state. They wrote off 5 and 6 also. So okay, and then Arnie goes on to state, well, number 4 goes over, blah blah blah. Then you get, okay, that other one over there, that pool, like the big one, because it's so close. Because once this stuff starts burning, it gets so hot that it's gonna. There's nothing in that area that will survive. I mean, you can't even get close to it, and you're dead, right? So there's no fixing it. Once it starts happening, there's no fixing it. There's no putting it out. You can't put water in this shit to put it out. Oh, that word again. Okay, so understanding that this all could take place with a small earthquake over in Japan, or simply the building falling over because it's already been structurally compromised. And I mean, we know through the time we lived on this sweet little world that Gaia, baby, I love you, and that there's structural collapses with sound buildings, let alone something that's all blown up and bent. I work with steel. I've worked with steel all my life. You start bending steel, it's no longer structurally sound at all. You've just lost over half of its structural integrity. Regardless, we're going to carry on a little more here. So anyway, this big one over in the corner blows up. And 85 times then. 85 times Chernobyl. You know what that means for... yeah, it gets pretty bad. So that's the whole northern hemisphere. So one goes, they all go, blah blah blah. I guess I can see my times. I'm not talking fast enough here. I still got a bit more, and this is the super juicy part. If you like suspense or the climax, man, sit in your chair, put your seatbelt on, because whew, it's gonna be crazy. I don't believe this stuff. Sometimes you're going, it just can't be that way, but it is. Okay, 3 coming up. Thank you. Love you all. Bye bye.